Okay, let's go. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be attempting to go through the Colleen Ballinger interview on the Raven and Miranda Tea Time. Tea Time is literally the name of the podcast. And I'm gonna try be a little bit more chill in this video. I recorded a video last night when the teaser for this dropped, and I was very angry and had a lot of rage, and I'm gonna try my best to get through this without that same level because we'll never get through it. I got my favorite coffee though, so every silver lining. All right, so it has just dropped, and it is called Exclusive, Colleen Ballinger's actual apology video. So we're off to a great start. All right. So it took her what? So long to come up with the toxic gossip train. And then 2 years later, oh, we're going to get her actual apology on a Raven Simone podcast, even though she's been uploading for the last 2 years. Right. Okay. No worries. And she's been like actively talking shit about us for those 2 years. No worries. No fucking worries. And by the way, again, just want to clarify that this is not just a situation pertaining to me. This is a situation with Becky, with Oliver, with Trisha. But anyways, let's get to this.
Today, we're sitting down with Colleen Ballinger, actress, comedian, and YouTuber, best known for her character, Miranda Sings.
If you were anywhere online in 2023, you probably saw Colleen's name.
What is going on with my life? Because I have Alexa Nicholas constantly coming for me. Zoe 101. We have the Drake Bell of it all, Drake and Josh. And now we have fucking Raven Simone from That's So Raven. Why am I genuinely like, do I have a target on my back from like child stars who like aren't popular anymore? What is going on?
Name trending. It's because she was accused of crossing personal boundaries with fans, some of whom were minors, and the response was intense.
She posted a response video that made the whole situation blow up even more. And what followed was one of the biggest public cancellations we've seen in a while.
This is actually the first time that we're meeting Colleen, and we've decided to do it now because we feel like enough time has passed for reflection and learning, and for a real conversation behind the headlines.
Colleen has had 2 years. She's actually had longer than that. She's had 2 fucking years to address this on any of her channels, but all she has done has been listening to Taylor Swift's song Cancelled and talking about how we ruined her life, how cancel culture stole Broadway rules from her, how her career, like, are we seriously to believe that this just happened last week and this is like her first opportunity to speak about it? Miss me with that.
It's easy to form opinions based on what we see online, but harder to sit down face to face and ask questions about what's really happened, what someone's taken from it, and how they're moving forward.
Our goal isn't to revisit every detail, but to understand the human side of the story that became very public.
So today, Colleen is here to share her perspective in her own words, to share what she's learned, what she regrets, and what she hopes all of us take away from it now.
And we're here to listen.
Here's our conversation with Colleen Ballinger.
You know, now that I'm a mom, obviously every choice I make, I think about how it could affect my children. And I wish that I went into my interactions with my fans with that same mind.
Teapot. This is just so deeply unserious. This is really deeply unserious. The fact she keeps harping on about this mom point really drives me up the fucking walls because, again, she had just had her first kid when she was at her peak of targeting and harassing me when I was 17. And also, it's just so funny because it's like a rules for me, not for thee. Like, you cry about like what your kids are gonna have to go through, not literally the kids of other people, what you've put through. Like,
mindset of like everything I say can affect them, and think about how this can affect these people that you're interacting with.
My next guest tonight is one of the most popular YouTubers in the world.
Her videos have garnered more than 1 billion views online.
You all know her as Miranda Sings.
Please welcome Colleen Ballinger.
Over 6 million.
Dude, the like sad music in the background is just, it's crazy.
Subscribers, nearing 2 billion views, now a Netflix show.
You're famous.
I really can't believe we're doing this again. Really? We are now in 2025 and we have exclusive Colleen Ballinger's apology video, actual apology video, sorry. Talk about pandering to headlines.
Colleen has written a best-selling self-help book, is touring around the world, and has appeared with the likes of Jimmy Fallon and Jerry Seinfeld.
YouTube star Colleen Ballinger.
Also, why is she doing this? Like, why actually is she doing this? Why am I to listen to anything that she says on here if she can't fucking do it on her own channel? Not even her second channel.
Who's better known as her online persona, Miranda Sings, is facing significant backlash. She's been accused of having inappropriate relationships with some of her underage fans.
And now a new video she made is landing the content creator in even more hot water.
They wanted an explanation, and they deserved that, and I didn't give it to them.
What happened personally, internally?
I was so caught up in the things that weren't true that were being said about me that I feel like I wasn't listening to the things that were true. I don't blame anyone but me. It was like a part of my brain was missing. People do make mistakes, and people can learn and grow and change.
Did you know they were underage at the time?
Sorry, that being a cliffhanger tells me everything I need to know about the Raven Simone podcast. Did you know they were underage at the time? Cliffhanger. Sorry, again, this just being called Tea Time. Like her going on the Tea Time podcast. But we're the problem? We're the ones sensationalizing it?
Back to another episode of Tea Time. Today on the podcast, we have somebody who you definitely know. Because if
definitely
you
know.
know YouTube,
You know her.
You know her. You have to know her. Colleen Ballinger.
That is it. That is my name.
You said it right.
You did.
I get so nervous about like butchering people's names, even though I know your name is
Because
Colleen
everybody
Ballinger,
butchers
and I've
hers.
said it so many times.
I wouldn't bother me if you did. Most people don't say it right. My whole life it was Colleen Ballinger.
Yeah,
people said
I'm
usually.
Mayday, and so people are always like Mayday, because it's not with a middle Y.
Oh,
so
okay,
it gets
okay.
very
Yeah, my name is Raven. People call me Janet. It's so weird. I don't understand.
okay.
Remember when we would do that back and forth bit, Colleen, in Weenies, you and a bunch of kids, where it would focus on the ball in Ballinger referring to your sex with Eric? Just really brought that up. And his name's Stockland, Stockcock, remember that? Talking about your sex with him? Yeah.
Anyway, I really appreciate you.
We're really happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, there is a very big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And I think that we just have to address it.
Immediately.
Why Miranda?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was thinking about that. I was like, how do we address this?
I know. It's pretty massive.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. I mean, luckily for you, she's been gone for a while, so you don't have anyone to compete with that name. But
thank you.
Yeah. I mean, do you actually want the answer to that question?
Yes, I do.
Why Miranda? Why did I name her? Why does she exist?
Why did you name her? We'll get
Why
into
did
other
you name
stuff
her
later.
and then that?
I was in college doing a play, like a one-act thing, some student-run thing, and I was cast as the role of Miranda. And I thought it was a show about Disney princesses. That's what I was told. And so I was like, I'm gonna get Belle. And then it was like, you're Miranda. And Miranda was like the mean, rude girl in the show. And then when I actually
Typical.
performed it, I think our biggest audience was like 7 people or something. There wasn't a lot of people who came. So when my friends came, I would sing just off key, just a little bit, like just under the pitch or just above the pitch, or like be awkward on stage to make them laugh.
Yeah.
And so when I created the character, I needed a name. I just finished that show, and I didn't put much thought into it. It was just, I just did this character.
I love how sorry, I'm just nitpicking, but I love how she constantly changes the story of how she created Miranda after she got called out, because her original story was that she was making fun of people in her class that thought they were talented and thought that they could sing, and she was actively making fun of them online. But I love that now that she's trying to like look like angelic, she's like, this is the real story.
Character, the
No
same stuff. Oh,
worries.
he's that, wow.
You're a mom of 3 now,
I can't believe that.
right?
That's so. I don't know. I keep thinking there's gonna be a day where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a mom. Like it doesn't. I can't. Like it can't even. It doesn't. Like I obviously am a mom, and I love my kids more than anything in the world. But it's like, I love Flynn, Maisie, and Wesley. Like I'm like, I don't have 3 kids.
How old do you feel in your body or in your brain? Like, how old do you feel? Because I feel like 20 sometimes.
20s. Yeah, I'd say like mid to late 20s. I feel like I'm stuck there, like in my mind of like. That's maybe even younger. I don't know, but I definitely don't feel like I'm in my 30s. And when people say my age, I'm like, oh my god, why are you calling me old? Like I don't. And I'm like, oh, they just said my age. Got it. So
What is your age?
Interesting.
Hilarious.
Me? Oh, you're 38. I think yes, 38.
We're the same age.
Not Rachel there.
You're 38.
I'm 38.
You look a lot younger than that.
But thank you.
You look like what did you say before we started? A young British boy.
Yes, I'm a young British
The loving
boy.
words I heard them speak to each other before we started
But
filming.
let's talk about it though, because you come from a big family, and I'm sure that when you have that many siblings, like you're just able to say whatever and blurt it out, and it's like joking and moving around. And one thing that I learned when I was on The View is that there's a difference between live in front of the audience and what's happening at home. And it took me a while to kind of learn that conversation. So to slowly just kind of talk about it, do you feel like you're at home when you're in front of a camera and you feel like that, or have you?
Totally. I mean, that was the whole thing, right? I mean, when I started doing YouTube, it was like kind of when YouTube started.
Yeah.
So the whole appeal of it, I feel like back then was that these people who were getting famous online, they weren't celebrities. They were real people. We were in our home. Like that was the appeal of it, is that we were your friend. You're, someone who's just, I'm talking to you from my living room, from my kitchen, talking about my day. So yeah, definitely it's really hard to separate the two between like what's private home life and then what's part of the public persona. To me, it was always one and the same. So, and that was, that was a hard thing for me to figure out the lines and boundaries of that, because I thought that was the whole appeal of like back then, when I started doing YouTube, is that I wasn't a celebrity. The people who rose to fame in the beginning, they're just like us. They're, that's
Is that what made you want to start YouTube?
No.
What made you want to?
It was brand, when I found it was like brand new. I, saw that people were talking to a camera alone in their room. And I was like, that's so strange, because now everyone talks to their phone, talks to their camera constantly. It's like, that's all we do all day. But 20 years ago, that was like, what are they doing? Do they know that I can see this? Like, I can see them sitting in their room talking to the camera. So I created the character of Miranda, and not you, but like my actual and I put it online for my friends. Like, you know, it was a joke for my friends, because like I said, I used to sing a little bit off the pitch, like in theater and choir, to make them laugh. So I created this character that was like a little off with her singing, but was really cocky. You know, I thought it was funny, and I put it on to send to my friends. And so
Again, it just makes me laugh as like someone who knew her for a very long time, how she has now changed the story of Miranda. The story of Miranda literally like has been that she was making, this is just nitpicking again, that she was making fun of what she deemed untalented people in like her theater class. And also it was alleged as well that she was picking up on mannerisms from people that she knew and basically like making fun of them.
I only uploaded stuff to YouTube to send to family and friends. It's like a joke, or, you know, performance videos of me to send to my parents at home. I was in college. There was no such thing as a YouTuber when I started doing YouTube. It was just a website you could upload videos to. There was no desire to become famous from it. There was no desire to become a YouTuber, because that wasn't a thing. There weren't influencers. It was just people uploading videos.
I have a question about Miranda.
Okay.
Why the red lipstick?
Well, in the beginning, I would do whatever people didn't like. Because in the beginning, originally, I thought it was so funny that people couldn't tell if she was real or not. And so people thought it was real. And
Meaning they
thought Miranda was a real person.
Like, that was you.
Yeah, they thought it was. So for a while, that was it. Like, people thought Miranda was a real person. And so whatever people said they didn't like in the comments, I would do it more, because I was like, who sits and just writes like, you don't, these are strangers to me. I don't know these people. And again, this is when it was all new. Like, this is brand new.
Sorry,
to me, into
Kelly,
the
it's
world.
still happening.
Oh yeah,
but
I'm a little aware that it's still happening.
These comments are crazy.
It's a lot different now. It's much different now than it was. But when they started trickling in, it was like they'd say, "Oh, I don't like how you pronounced this word," and so I'd mess up how I pronounce words more moving forward. I tried to egg on the comments a little bit in the beginning, because I thought it was funny that people thought it was a real character.
Yeah, but it sounds like you were doing
it
sounds like you were doing performance art and having the audience inform you of where to go next, knowing that a little tinge of under the note is very appealing at times, right? And that's how you kind of gained your following, by just a little bit of irritation to where people could hate and could love at the same time.
Right. Yeah, I think the appeal in the beginning was that people couldn't tell if it was real or not. And then when people figured out that it wasn't real, they felt like they were in on a joke or something. They were in on it, and that was fun for them. And, you know, like I said in the beginning, it was an older audience for the first few years of my career, and I was doing a lot of nightclubs and stuff like that.
Like, how old do you think?
I just graduated college, so there were people my age, but it was the gay theater community. It was like a lot of like older gay men that would like come to my shows, and so, you know, my comedy was it was crass and over the top and whatever, but they liked that they were in on this joke. And Miranda was a lot more subtle at the beginning too. You know, over time it became this like really dramatic, more cartoony, like intense character, but like in the beginning it was much more subtle. And over time, as people commented what they didn't like, I would do things more. So in the beginning, people I think were drawn to the fact of, is this an actor or not? And then once they figured that out, and then the audience kind of grew and changed over the years, the appeal shifted, because I noticed people started coming to the shows and saying that they were inspired by the character, and they were inspired by her resilience, and that she didn't care what haters said about her, and she didn't care that people were bullying her. She still just was her true authentic self and was confident no matter what anyone said. And so, and that was never my intention, but it was a cool thing to watch happen, that all of a sudden people were inspired.
And this was still live, right? This was not on YouTube yet.
Well,
Miranda Sings, famously the most inspiring character that has ever been created.
was on YouTube. It was both. So I had YouTube, and I used YouTube as a way to promote the live shows. So online it was mostly, you know, people hating Miranda. I mean, there were some comments too, like laughing and thinking it was fun and silly and whatever. But yes, it was definitely in person and in fan letters and whatnot. That's where I would get the comments of like, this really helped me, you know, to be myself, to be my weird self, and to have confidence and not listen to the haters. And that was like a really pleasant surprise of doing the character that I wasn't expecting. Was it becoming something that kind of became an inspiration for people to not care what people thought, especially as the internet was growing and rising, and, you know, online bullying and hate was getting worse and worse. Like, I think it was good for people to see and hear someone who wasn't traditional.
What part does the incest of the character come into being inspiring for people? And the infantilization of being abused by older people. Like, she never addresses any of these things. I hope she does. This is her actual apology.
Additionally pretty or talented, you know, it was like this weird looking, untalented girl. Like, I don't care what you say, I'm so confident. Like, she didn't, you know, Miranda didn't care what anyone said.
When Miranda came to be, it really wasn't, like, that was for an adult audience.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I certainly never thought I'm making a kid show or a kid character or something to entertain children. Like, that was never the goal ever, actually, in my career. And even when I did my Netflix show, that was a discussion that we had constantly, because they were like, you know, they were noticing, because they came to a couple of my live shows, the people involved, and they're like, oh, there's a lot of teens here. So let's put this on the kids app. And I was like, whoa, this is not a kid's show. Like, I do not want this on the kids app. That would be inappropriate. Like, this is 100% not for children. And it was like but they really wanted that because they saw a younger audience. And they were like, we want the younger audience to be able to see this. And I was like, that's fine, but like, they need their parents' approval, because this is not a kid show and this isn't a kid character. So I never set out for it to be for kids. Or
Colleen doesn't want kids watching her. She wants to be talking to them and speaking inappropriately to them.
You know, it was, like I said in the beginning, my comedy was pretty crass. And you can go back and look at like my old original content, my first videos I ever uploaded. Like my humor was that of like a, you know, mid-20s girl who was in theater and, you know, with all my gay friends just being, we were being like silly and ridiculous and crude. And but the people watching me, they liked that style of comedy and that style of humor.
You said that Miranda Sings, you had a good 20-year run. 20-year run with that. You had
I can't believe that she's rewriting the narrative that she never wanted Miranda Sings to be for kids. Is that like taking the blame away from her as to what ended up happening? She knew that the audience was kids. She actively knew. She played into it. She made a lot of money because the audience was for kids. She literally is on the record being like, I know that the audience is kids. I'll make sexual innuendos so the parents can have fun with it. And then she would take it too far. Like, okay, we're already rewriting.
a Netflix show, girl. I ain't even had a Netflix show. Goddamn. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
I can do anything. You had a 20-year run. You explained that you hustled to make that character what it was. And then the world imploded. And then you got canceled. And then you had all
This word, canceled. And also, I really can't take it seriously considering a fucking week ago, she was sitting listening to Taylor Swift's Good Thing I Like My Friends Canceled and fucking streaming tears. The word means nothing. It means nothing.
all these accusations and a lot of voices come through the screen that had been rooting for you for so long. You had the rug pulled out from underneath you. We will get into those and kind of talk a little bit about some of the comments people have made and how certain situations have made watchers and viewers feel. But I first want to ask you, when you first got that ting about, oh no, something is going astray, what happened personally?
Well, I'll fucking tell you, Raven. When she first saw something going astray back in 2020, when I made my first video, which, mind you, was a video for the Colleen fandom because I was a small YouTuber, literally only had like a couple hundred, if not like 1,000 subscribers. I literally would make content and the only people watching were my friends in the Colleen Ballinger fandom because I was such an integral part of the fandom and also one of Colleen's fucking favorites, and people knew that. So whenever I had to distance myself from Colleen because she was fucking bullying me behind the fucking scenes when I was 17, she's a grown fucking woman and she's in group chats trying to fucking get people to turn on me, and her fucking best friend Corey is doing the fucking same, and they're trying to ruin my life and smear me and get hate videos made on me and get all my friends from online to turn on me. Specifically during the fucking pandemic when the only fucking friends you had were internet friends. When I made my first video, basically being like, hey guys, speaking to the audience that watched my content, which was Colleen fans. And I say, I do not want to be associated with her anymore. She has done these things to me, and there were plot holes in it. You know why there were plot holes in it? Because it was for a niche audience that didn't need every single piece of context in there because they already knew it. So when my video went mainstream, Colleen, this is her first array. What did she do? You know what she fucking did? And I hope she fucking says it. She got in fucking DMs. She got in fucking group chats. And she tried to find every piece of fucking information about me to use against me, to get people to expose me, to get people to discredit me. She turned my friends against me. She turned one of my best friends in the entire fucking world against me, who was in the online. We went to concerts together. We met Ariana Grande together. She fucking turned her against me. And we've never been friends since. She turned the entire Weenies group chat against me. I got fucking kicked from the group chat. I'm removed from everything. She then is speaking to Cody fucking Tyler about making hate videos about me. And then she makes a fucking video on her fucking second channel, which panders to the mainstream, where she basically says I lied, makes me look crazy, and genuinely for fucking years, I had to sit with the fact that this woman orchestrated a fucking takedown of me because she was slightly pushed back on the fact she was bullying a fucking child. And she better fucking say that.
Internally to you?
You know, it was kind of a slow build. And I feel like I felt it brewing for a little bit first.
Yeah. 2020, and then Cody Tyler bringing it up again in 2023.
You know, it was a very jarring experience. And first, I think I should say, when my audience kind of grew and it went from this older audience to, it spread and there was now a lot more teens watching me. I didn't adjust my comedy very much because I was like, well, they found me doing this, so this is what they like and this is what I like, so I'm going to keep doing the comedy they like. And I did adjust it a little bit over time. But one thing that I didn't do, and I should have been much more careful about, is I didn't adjust my interactions with my fans. And that's something I regret a lot because, like I said earlier, the difference between me and a mainstream celebrity, at least in the beginning, was that I was attainable and look, she'll talk to us, she'll interact with us, and she's talking to us from her living room, she'll talk about anything. And she's so open and she'll talk one-on-one with us. She meets us in person at her shows and whatnot, and we know her, and I didn't think about that when I was interacting with my fans, I didn't think about a power dynamic that could have been there. I didn't think about a parasocial relationship, and I should.
Bullshit. I call fucking bullshit. If you didn't think there was a power dynamic, why were you specifically getting us to find dirt on your enemies? Why were you specifically getting us to take down your ex-husband? Why were you specifically getting us to take down your ex-friends, Rebecca Zamolo? Like, what do you fucking mean you didn't know? You actively enlisted us to do your fucking dirty work. We would only do that if there was a power dynamic, Colleen.
I should have been more responsible in thinking about that, but I didn't even think of myself that way. I was like, yeah, we are friends. Like,
bullshit.
I felt the same way. And so for me, I was like, well, I'm just talking to my friends. I talked to all of them like they're my friends, my sisters, all the fans. And I definitely should have been more careful with the way I was joking with them and the things I was saying to them.
Do you feel like not having a team earlier in your career?
Joking or things I was saying? Colleen, we were openly all talking about fucking sex when we were a bunch of kids and teens, and you were literally in your fucking, probably in your 30s. Joking are the things I was saying to
hindered you from making better decisions?
I definitely wish I had someone to give me advice. I was with that.
Someone to give you advice? It was me! I literally was your social media manager at one time. I was the one working for you. Oh my God. How the fuck can you wish that you had a better team when your team was a fucking child?
That group of like the first YouTubers that kind of like rose to any sort of stardom or fame, in the beginning. So it's not like there were people before me doing this that I could look to and ask questions about. This was a new thing. Yeah. And so, and I'm not saying that as an excuse. There's plenty of other people who rose to fame.
By the way, there's so many OG YouTubers who didn't get exposed for being creeps.
Who didn't interact with their fans. And but it was something that I felt was an appeal to why people were watching me at all. And I felt such pressure to like make sure I made my fans happy because I wanted to do anything that they wanted, and I wanted to write back to every letter and respond to every message and whatever they asked for, I wanted to give them and do because they were the reason I had the career that I have. Mm-hmm. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have the life that I have and the amazing career that I had. And
it sounds like everything you were doing online was from a place of trying to please your fans and connect with your fans and
not lose them.
Yeah.
It was from a place of not losing them, but oh my God, she wasn't doing this out of the kindness of her own heart. She used us to do her fucking dirty work so that she could always be number one.
That's pressure.
But even with all that, I wish first there was someone there to help guide me and say like, hey, this...
It was me! I was your social media manager at one time.
This could look bad taken out of context. This could look like, this could make someone uncomfortable. Or, I wish there was someone there to kind of help guide me. But at the same time, I'm also disappointed in myself that I didn't know better because other people did. So why didn't I? So that's something that I've had to work through is like, why didn't I think more about this? Why didn't I think more about, a parasocial relationship? But
do you have answers to those questions?
I think... It all boils down to me just really wanting to make them the people pleasing tendency of like I want to do this because this will make they're begging me to.
You wanted them to love you.
I wanted them to
because they're begging. She just said, I did it because they were begging. Is what she just said. Colleen, do you know that so many times you were the one that started conversations with us? There was no fucking begging involved. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. I was doing it out of a place of them begging. Go fuck yourself.
To love me. I wanted them to like my content. I wanted them to be happy with what I was putting out there because, like I said, everything that I had was because they supported me. And so that's what I was trying to do. But it would have been so much better for me to think about their well-being and if this would affect anyone in a negative way. Like that's what I wish I had done.
When did you realize that people were starting to be negatively impacted?
Oh man, there's multiple moments because it was like I said, it was a slow build, but like it was. I'd see people who had been fans for a long time would come to every show, were commenting on everything that I, at this point I'd recognize because I would talk to them and I knew them, and to see them slowly drop off one at a time was like, oh, they're very upset. That was painful and really sad, and I wish I'd listened more when all of it happened. I was
vague. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
So caught up in the things that weren't true that were being said about me.
What wasn't true? My mind just goes to Johnny Silvestri when he was fucking stealing parts of my story, which was true. Colleen, you cannot hide behind that things were not true. That's factually, you would have shut this shit down before now. It's been what? Since this started? 5 years? You're allowing shit to be out there for 5 fucking years and not shutting it down because things aren't true. Bullshit.
That I feel like I wasn't listening to the things that were true and the things that I did make mistakes doing and take responsibility for those things. Instead, I was like, well, they're saying all these other things about me that are lies, and that's not true. And I was angry about those things. And I wish that I had just paused and listened for a second.
There's a lot of things that were said about you. There's been allegations of grooming behavior. Or how do you, what do you think they're talking about?
That one is, that's the one that got me the hardest. When that allegation came up, that's when I was out. I was done. Because that was devastating and shocking. It was very shocking because I know that my intention and my actions have never been fueled with
Your intention and your actions are 2 different things. You cannot compare them together. Ooh, I'm getting so angry.
desire to manipulate or groom anybody ever. That has never been something I have done or will ever do. And
There we go. She's saying she didn't do it. All right, no worries. No fucking worries, Colleen. Took you 5 years to basically be like, yeah, I didn't do that. No worries. Fuck you.
it's a very serious accusation.
Very serious.
It is very serious, Colleen. That's the fucking point.
So when those kind of words started being thrown around, that's when I kind of was, I kind of shut down. And it really was, that was devastating to hear. And, you asked, what does that mean to other people? That's why this was a hard thing for me to know how to navigate, because it wasn't about what did she do or what didn't she do. It was more about what was her intention behind some of these actions, I think. And my intention was being decided for me by people talking about it.
What a cop-out. What a fucking cop-out. I really cannot believe this.
My intention wasn't to hurt or do anything negative ever. Now, that doesn't mean that people weren't hurt.
Right.
And that's the part that I wish I had paid more attention to. But I obviously didn't handle the situation the way that I should have. And it's really embarrassing. I wish that I could handle it a lot differently than I did.
What do you mean by that? You've had, from the toxic gossip train, right? Let's say that you regret that. It's still on your channel because it's your most viewed video. And you've had 2 years since that of nonstop bitching about people that have spoken about you. But now you're suddenly reformed with a Raven Simone podcast? How dare you?
When you say that, are you talking about like the apology?
Talking about a musical
videos?
instrument that I should have not picked up. Yes, I mean, I should have.
I'm glad you can laugh
listened
about
to what
it.
people were saying. and I
Crazy
should have-
People want an
ass.
apology. I think people want for you to acknowledge the things that happened on stage. I hope that you give that to them.
I agree with you. I think that they do want an apology, and I am sorry. And here's the thing: is when you mess up and when you make a mistake and do something wrong.
I love that Raven just had to say, people want an apology from you. And she went, yeah, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Like, have you ever seen someone so incapable of looking inwards? Like, she genuinely is just so fucking narcissistic.
Sometimes you got to keep apologizing for it, and that's what I should have done. Like, and people keep saying it's an apology song. I didn't apologize in that thing.
You did not.
I did not.
You know what?
There
You are
was
correct.
no
You did not
sorry in
apologize.
that.
You did not. I was actually laughing. So you know, that was some crazy
Yeah.
penmanship.
We also, in watching it, I remember one of the things that we talked about was it felt like you were angry.
Yeah,
and,
I was.
and burnt out and just
Fed up.
Yeah, fed up.
I was.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that I was angry. And that's why I keep saying I wish that I had just paused for a second and listened to my fans.
The video to me just like showed the real Colleen to the internet. I think I tweeted that back in the moment, like the real Colleen. Like, I think I literally was like, well, internet, you've seen now the version of Colleen that we've all seen behind the scenes. This like angry, needs to be right, egotistical, narcissistic, evil woman.
To my supporters.
Process.
Because while there were things being said about me that
Why?
weren't true,
Fuck up. Fuck up, Colleen. Jesus Christ, woman. Oh my God. Also, she just said, you know, my supporters deserve the apology. Why the fuck have you an inability to fucking literally just say, I'm sorry to Adam, to Trisha, to Becky, to Oliver? What is your problem? Oh my God. This constant pandering towards the audience because that's all she fucking cares about. Oh my God.
My people who would support me for so many years that I'm up here saying, like, I just wanted them to be happy. I wanted to make them happy. Well, they wanted an explanation. They wanted to understand what's going on.
I cannot believe here she's saying about the audience rather than anyone actually fucking affected by her.
Deserved that, and I didn't give it to them. Instead, I was angry and sang a song, and which is crazy.
It blew shit up.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was.
I'm aware.
Okay,
It's
that was crazy, bro.
absolutely crazy. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, when the dust did settle, because I like you were saying, I did want to address it, and I was being told. I got a lot of advice from a lot of people, and the majority of the advice was don't say anything. And I'm sure you know from being in the
Honey, I
industry for
tell
so
her
long.
all the time, don't say nothing.
Right. Don't address it. Don't say anything. It will just make it worse. Don't address it. Don't say anything. It'll just make it worse. But I'm in a different position than a traditional celebrity because people watch me because I was so open and I talked about everything. I mean, I talked about everything, like that I've been through, my mental health and my births and my pregnancies and my journey to fame. Like, I mean, everything I've been through, I've talked about online very openly. And so, you know, my audience, that was one of the reasons they liked watching me. And so then to suddenly be like, not only am I not going to talk about this, I'm going to sing this song about it. And like, and it was such a
You're a mess.
choice.
It was such a choice.
I'm so glad. I feel like I'm like literally being like rage baited right here. Like, I'm so glad you guys can laugh about it. And you know, aside from me, the fact that she had the audacity to, in that song, make fun of Becky's story, literally with being like, fart joke. Like, how dare you? Like,
very much.
Such a choice, bro.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I think, you know, I was like getting so frustrated because I was just like, let me just address this. Like, please let me just talk. I just want to talk about this. And so finally after I posted the video, it was shortly after I posted it, I was talking to someone on the phone from my team. And I was like, oh, that was a huge mistake. That was really stupid. It was like, there was so much.
video's still up on her channel, by the way, 2 years later. No worries.
I have to say something. And finally I let it out.
What does regret feel like?
Oh, it's horrible.
How can you regret something that you still are standing by? It's still on your channel.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Because because you want to fix it. And you can't fix it. And that's the worst. Like, I wanted to fix it so bad, and there was no fixing it. There was nothing I could do to fix it. And that was so awful.
Deleting it would be a start.
Address anything that I wanted to address. Not only did I not, you know, dispute the lies that I wanted to dispute, and I just made things.
You actually, in it, literally like were confirming what we were saying. That's what you don't realize. You added validity to what we were saying.
It was so bad.
So where do you think your mind went during that time that you were so unable, I guess, to have the perspective you have now?
Were you trying to save the character? Were you trying to save yourself? Were you trying to?
Were you just like completely
blacked out in
kind
anger?
of disconnected from it? And you're like, I'm just gonna do this because I'm pissed.
I feel like it was a little bit of all of it. I mean, it was really overwhelming to, you know, have these words thrown around in connection to me and my name that are really horrible. I mean, that's a horrible thing to be.
They're horrible words. Now imagine the actions, Colleen.
And to be accused of when you know that you are not that.
Oh,
Especially
give it a
because,
rest.
in my opinion, that's one of the worst things a person can be. It probably is.
And there you go. That's how we feel about you, Colleen.
And so to be accused of that, knowing that I'm not that.
Are you speaking of grooming?
Grooming. Grooming and in any way harming children.
Yeah.
Is the opposite of something or someone I am or ever would want to be.
Oh my God. I can't believe we're still doing this. I really can't believe we're still doing this. In the big year 2025. What about this is Colleen Ballinger's actual apology video? Like,
And so to be connected to those words was devastating. It still is. And you know, that's something that will, you know,
It'll follow you around.
It will.
It will follow you around.
It will.
There were moments in your live shows where there were children brought up on stage and you were, as showbiz says, going for the funny in a lot of moments. However, looking back at moments,
exploiting
there is,
kids isn't
another
funny.
person on the internet who is saying that when she went up on stage for your live show, she was a part of the yoga challenge section of your show. And it made them feel gross later in life.
I get such rage and like protection whenever it comes to Becky and Oliver. I think that they're younger than me as well, which kind of adds a little bit to it, where I like feel a little bit protected. Specifically Oliver. I know Oliver, he is significantly younger than me. I think he literally is like maybe 20 now. He was 18 back then. These people just want to get on with their lives. I remember in the moment when this all dropped, Becky was literally saying like, Becky or Oliver was like, I'm going into school and everyone's talking about this. And to imagine like their day-to-day lives just because Colleen Ballinger has such a narcissistic ego that she can't let things fucking sit. She's bringing this up again. Re-fucking traumatizing those, like it's.
Life, they were essayed, and when they look back at that moment with you, they feel similar feelings. Can you dive a little bit deeper into what happened at the yoga challenge?
It was a challenge on YouTube for a while for people to try out different yoga poses. Like couples would do it together, because if you're not experiencing yoga, it's difficult to do. And so since I'm a YouTuber on my live show, sometimes I would do challenges from YouTube. So I did that challenge, and I'd have people come up on stage and we would try out different yoga poses that popped up on the screen. And obviously we could never do them. And
you would specifically find young teens or young kids who in your eyes, as the character would say, were wearing porn outfits, which means that they were wearing skirts or, you know, more so revealing outfits, which made this bit even more triggering to Becky when you basically almost got her flashed to the audience.
I would be, you know, flailing about as Miranda. And there was one pose where there are two people and both legs are spread open, you're holding each other's legs. And I genuinely never thought of it as a sexual or inappropriate thing. To me, the joke was that when the legs were open to do the pose, the fart sound effect came on the screen. So it was like, once the legs opened up, there was a fart sound. And to me, that was all I thought that joke was. I never knew that that was something that would make someone feel uncomfortable and trigger emotions and feelings. I feel terrible about that. Genuinely, when I heard about that, I felt so bad, because that is something I'd never want to.
When you heard about it, what do you mean? You liar. What do you mean when you heard about it? You were devastated. In the toxic gossip train, one of the most blatant parts of the toxic gossip train is making fun of Becky for talking about that, where you go, because I made a fart joke. Making fun of her. How dare you try to rewrite the narrative? How dare you? I get like more protective of Becky and Oliver than I do myself, because it's like I never had someone standing up for me, and like I feel like, oh my God, how dare you rewrite the narrative that you felt terrible whenever that dropped. You fucking made fun of it in your song.
What I want to do is trigger anyone, but especially a girl who's been through horrible things in that manner. Like that, it feels so terrible that me doing this silly yoga joke, in my mind, was silly yoga joke, could be something that could trigger her in such a negative way and affect her in such a negative way. And it's awful. And I'm really proud of anyone who's been able to come forward and express that, because I want kids and minors and anyone to be able to feel like they can speak up if they're uncomfortable.
Don't really think you're harboring a world in which that's believable, considering that whenever people do, you basically shut them. It's okay if they do it, but just not against you, because then you will say that it's not true.
And they can speak up about things that they feel are not okay. They need to be able to feel that way.
How is she genuinely saying that she believes in children being able to speak up about things that make them uncomfortable, but yet she's referring to children speaking up against her, and she's like, well, it's all fake and it's all lies and it ruined my life? Is she so narcissistic that she can't see that?
Certainly, you know, the things that I've done in my comedy in the past, like there's so many things I look back and go, oh my God, I would never do that. Now I can't believe I did that. And it was for the laugh. You know, you're on stage and it is different than when you're online and you can read comments from people who go, hey, that's not cool. And you can go, oh crap.
You did the same bit for years upon years upon years. You would have kids come on stage and the full bit would be them putting their hands down your trousers.
When you're on stage, everyone's laughing and enjoying it and then telling you after, that was the best part of the show when you did this, this, and this. And a lot of the comedy that I did with Miranda, when my audience shifted, I was like, okay, how do I keep this audience that liked this crass humor and now appeal to this younger audience that now is growing so much? And my solution to that was I will still do these more crass innuendo type jokes, and it'll go over the kids' heads, and then the parents will have something to laugh at, and the adults will have something to laugh at that are in the audience. And that was my solution to that.
That was you rectifying?
Kids are not the butt of the joke.
Yes. Yeah, I thought, you know, well, everyone knows that I'm a safe person and I don't mean anything negative by this. I was like, well, everyone knows this is in jest, you know, and so it's fine for me to do this because the crass jokes will go over the kids' heads and the adults will laugh at it, and that is how it seemed to me. I didn't think more about how that could be affecting the younger people in the audience.
Do you feel like you have a different perspective now between, let's say, like bad judgment and harmful behavior?
I definitely do. Yeah, I certainly think that and especially now, you know, now that I'm a mom, obviously every choice I make, I think about how it could affect my children. And I wish that I went into my interactions with my fans with that same mindset of like everything I say.
It's funny because you were still doing this shit after you had kids. So I don't know how that's an argument.
It can affect them, and think about how this can affect these people that you're interacting with.
Did parents ever confront you after? Did you ever get any kind of interaction with an adult who said, this didn't feel good for me and my child?
No, I never did personally. I don't know if
First of all, just want to say that, hold on.
someone got that message and I never received it. The only complaint I ever remember receiving in that way, in person from a live show or anything, was at the beginning of my shows, I used to do a ukulele song where I would...
Also, her saying she's never had feedback from parents is crazy because she actively had a fucking fight with my mother over fucking text message. Like,
I know, where I would sing the hate comments that I received. And there was hate comments, so there was a lot of bad language, and the comments were on the screen, and I would sing them. And we did get some complaints about that. They were like, you're saying bad words, like in the first 5 minutes of the show, and I have my young kid here, whatever. And so then I changed it. I bleeped the words on the screen, and I bleeped the audio of it too, so that you couldn't hear or see it. And we also changed on the website everywhere, like, this is a PG-13 show, like, making sure everyone knew that this was not a kid show, because I got that complaint. And so I don't know if we were getting that complaint and it was stopped before it got to me or not, but I never received a complaint like that. And in fact, I was usually told, oh my gosh, these jokes that were, they didn't get it, but it was so funny when I can't believe, it was always the shock of like, I can't believe you said that.
I'm sure.
I was always told that it was all funny and it was so ridiculous and over the top. And
Time is interesting. Time is really interesting because if you go back in time for entertainment, there's been many a comedian, many a entertainer that has done things in their early career that when they look back on, they wish they didn't, because culture changes. While people were laughing with you and quote unquote at you because of the character.
I don't understand how culture changing is being like weirdly inappropriate with kids and like talking about sex with them. I really don't understand how that's a part of culture changing, Raven. I really don't.
Character. It must feel so like two-faced for you, for all these people who were laughing with you, and then all of a sudden
Have them turn against you.
The people in question, by the way, still being fucking children. Oh my God. But I thought you wanted to harbor a space in which children can speak up when they feel uncomfortable. Which one is it?
no, yes, it's painful to see people who supported me and laughed with me and all this stuff suddenly turn and change their mind about it. But I don't blame anyone but me for, I completely blame myself, especially because I know that people do make mistakes and people can learn and grow and change. And one of my biggest mistakes was not listening and addressing things and taking responsibility. And
You still aren't. You have not done it in 35 fucking minutes yet. The one time you said I'm sorry and this Raven had to literally tell you to say I'm sorry.
Playing the ukulele.
yeah, I'm playing that damn ukulele.
So I just want you to forget that.
I will never,
can't forget
trust
it.
me. I will never forget
Okay, just
that.
make sure.
I went to a fair with my husband and kids, and they had these like colorful little kid ukuleles, and I was like, "Oh, I want to get one for one of our kids." And my husband was like, "No," and I didn't even register to me, which is crazy because I always think about it. And I was like, "No, what?" He's like, "Do you have something to put it in?" I was like, "I'll just carry it." And he goes, "No, we're in a public place." No, and I was like,
This is what I'm saying. Everything is a fucking joke to her. She does not take this seriously. She does not fundamentally care about this. She wants people to be laughing with her so bad. And I guess she find it with fucking That's So Raven.
"What's wrong?" And he was like, "You cannot hold a ukulele that is hot pink and walk around a fair. Are you insane?" And I was
And
like,
you're like, "Yes,
I
I
am."
am.
And also, thank you, because I was about to do it. I just didn't, I don't know how I didn't think about it because I think about it all the time and how like, oh my God, I really like that instrument. I can never play it again. It's like, but it was just, anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. I just got distracted.
Now, this is a live show. My apologies for never going and seeing the
It's all
entire
good.
thing.
No
but
worries.
if you could explain why there is a clip of YouTube of a little boy eating Cheetos out of your pants, could you explain that for the audience, please?
Pulling Cheetos. That makes it sound more egregious. Like he's physically eating out of her pants. He wasn't. He was taking one.
Oh, he was taking a... See, that's how things get twisted.
Right, yeah,
So could you explain...
What do you mean? You just didn't do any fucking research! Oh my God. You just incorrectly told what happened about that young boy putting his hands in the trousers, taking out Cheetos and eating them as he was eating out of her trousers. And then you go, this is how things got misconstrued. You just don't do fucking research.
Explain it, please.
Well, I mean, what a crazy thing to hear that there's a woman on stage and there's a young person taking food out of her pants and eating it on stage. Like, that's crazy. A lot of the joke with Miranda was that I would say and do things that were inappropriate or had some sort of sexual innuendo to them or something like that. And it went over the character's head. Like Miranda was...
Can you imagine your full bit being sexual innuendos where kids are the innuendos? Freak.
not aware that she was saying something that could be taken the wrong way. That was a lot of the jokes that I did as the character. And so in that particular part of the show that I did, it was probably 8 to 10 years ago that I used to do that bit. Miranda was teaching the audience how to sneak food into the movie theater. And so I stuffed a big bag of cheese balls in my pants. Now I was wearing layers of clothing because throughout the show, I put more clothes on over my clothes on stage. When I transitioned from me into Miranda, I, in front of everyone, put on more clothes. So I'm wearing lots of layers of clothing, and then there's the cheese balls in a bag and in my pants. And so initially I would bring up an adult, and I'd start eating the snack as we're, quote unquote, watching this movie. And then I'd say,
The full bit was that you were going on a date with the person. The full bit was that you were going on a date with the person.
do you want a snack? And then they would take a cheese ball from the top of the bag and eat it. It was supposed to be like, she doesn't realize how inappropriate this looks. And then, you know, there's a clip, like you said, of when
Colleen. She is just rewriting history and pissing me the fuck off right now. Literally in these clips, I can't show it because this guy is underage in the clip. He's underage, but like, let me try zoom in. What do you, oh my God. She is just fucking lying, dude. I really can't believe it. This is just that he was just eating a snack. Your full bit is like undressing where you go, oh, and he slipped this off. And you're looking, the camera doesn't get it, but you're looking directly at the kid while slipping them off and the audience are going crazy. Look. God, she's such a liar.
I have loved this woman forever. I did everything I could to get to this show.
And isn't that really sad, Colleen? That when you're trying to be like sexual and weird, the child is literally so young. They're like, I'm just so happy to be here. Why aren't you telling the truth about these situations? And shame on you, Miranda. Literally. And shame on you, Raven, as well, for not doing the fucking research that you should have.
Younger person came on stage and did that with me. And the audience is laughing because, and you could see my reaction, like, this is a weird situation that I'm in here, but it got a big laugh and everyone knew that it wasn't Jess. And this is me trying to, you know, rationalize, that's the word, yes, rationalize the situation. But shortly after, like, I mean, I'd say within a year of doing that joke, I cut it because I was like, I think this
within a year of doing that joke, you what?
Cut it, like I stopped doing it because it was, I mean, my fans were, a lot of them were younger at this point. So I was like, you know, obviously this joke is not, I'm not gonna do this anymore. It's not working, it's not appropriate. And so I cut that. I regret doing that. I should have never brought kids up on stage, even though the joke was that Miranda doesn't know that this is inappropriate and the audience is like
what do you mean? You're stripping like you're taking off underwear in front of a kid while looking at, like,
it doesn't matter. I should have been like, if I'm gonna do this joke, it's in my adult show that I'm doing with adults that are consenting and know that this is a joke, that Miranda doesn't understand that this could look bad.
So you have admitted to sending lingerie to an underage fan. And I know you've talked about this before, but I would like to ask you one more time to address this and kind of what happened and how you're feeling about it now.
Yeah, what an idiot, is how I feel about it now. I think it was like 10 years ago, something like that. I was doing a live stream and I always loved giving away gifts to my fans online. So I would send them like a bobby pin of Miranda's or a lipstick of Miranda, an old shirt, you know. Usually it was to encourage them to donate to a charity event that I would do every year. But I loved giving out stuff. And so I was doing a live stream like I did pretty often, and I was opening up a box of clothes that I had bought, and in it was this underwear bra set that I didn't order, and it was, we were all laughing about it. So everyone in the chat was laughing about it, me and my friend, and he actually put it on over his clothes. I was like, look at this, and we were laughing about it. And there are people in the comments saying, oh, send that to me, send that one to me.
Colleen, you're missing a big detail there. Remember when Corey put it on and was like, Adam would want this, Adam would want this, Adam would want this, and you were like, we should send it to him, we should send it to him, we should send it to him. Remember? You and Corey on your live stream. Corey put on the lingerie and you both were like, Adam, do you want this? Adam, you want this? How dare you take that piece of context out?
And we were like, we're not going to do that. That's crazy. But then there's one fan in particular.
What the fuck? You liar. You fucking liar. And you know what's so crazy about you continuing to lie about this? You were exposed in your addressing everything video for snipping up the clip.
Who kept asking us to send it. And
fuck you. Fuck you, Colleen. Fuck you, Colleen. Fuck you. Corey put those on. He went, Adam wants these, Adam wants these. And you were like, we should send them to him. Adam, do you want these? Do you want these? Do you want these? Fuck you, Colleen. Fuck you. You lying piece of fucking trash. You are a horrible, horrible person, and you're delusional, you're narcissistic, you're egotistical, and you know what? I cannot believe that you're willing to continue to die on this hill when you've been exposed over and over and over again for fabricating that story.
And I was like, obviously you can tell in the live, like I'm like hesitant about it because there is a...
You're a fucking liar. Oh my God. Oh my God. There used to be a stage when I would address this fucking bullshit and I would be upset or I would be whatever. You anger me. You're crazy. You're fucking crazy. How dare you continue when your kids are growing up to be at closer rates than I was in the fucking moment, continue to fucking villainize us and fucking take away any fucking what you've actually done. Colleen, we see the clip. You and Corey put it on and are like, Adam wants this, Adam, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And then I say, yeah. Because you guys were sending me something. And the way the hierarchy in the fandom worked was that you get that in a letter and attention. How dare you, Colleen? Stupid ass. Even your lies are dumb as fuck.
A little bit of brains in there somewhere. That was like, maybe not, because I hesitated.
No, you didn't.
But then I was like, and I didn't send it. I didn't. But then it was just became an inside joke with the fandom, and everyone was like telling me to send it, and he kept asking for it. It was like months of this until finally I did, and it was very public and as a joke. And it was like a part of my brain was missing in action of like, hey, this is not a good idea. This looks bad. It wasn't a pair of my something that I sent to a young fan in an inappropriate way, but it was inappropriate. Like, why would I? What part of me thought like everyone will know this is a silly joke in the fandom? Like that was. I wish I'd never done that. That was so inappropriate. And if he was made to feel uncomfortable because of that, like. I feel terrible and I'm so sorry because that was not my intention with that. I thought it was like a silly inside joke with...
How the fuck can you apologize to me for that when you just lied and said that I was begging for them and not that actually you and Corey were like saying that you wanted to give them to me? Go fuck your apology, Colleen. How the fuck do you discredit me and then go, oh, but I'm sorry if you felt like that. Fuck you, bitch.
With the whole fandom, it was all very public and it was... I thought it was a silly thing and it was so stupid.
It's also difficult, I think, in that specific situation when you feel like you're being given permission, if you will, because everyone is saying kind of the same thing. Everyone seems in on the joke.
A bunch of kids.
Understand it. Everyone is saying, send it. And then you have this person not dropping it after that, but continuing the conversation weeks after this has happened. I can see where you don't think about potential negative consequence because in that moment it feels pure.
And you're not sending it in a sexual manner.
No. Well, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, like it was my responsibility to know I shouldn't send this. This could look really bad. This could make people uncomfortable. Yeah. Yes. That's where, even though it doesn't matter how many people are egging it on or asking for it.
You should also focus on it not looking bad, but it just being bad.
And thinking it was so funny and everyone, it seems like this joke. I should have taken a second and been like, maybe send a bobby pin. Yeah. Like this is not the thing to send to someone. This is not something
a silver one or a black one?
Well, I think I usually use the black ones.
Yes,
again, like the level of unserious this is, and then it just immediately goes into jokes and laughter. Like, this is so deeply stupid.
Something else, Colleen, that has come up and been discussed is the fact that you would participate in group chats with your fans, and there were minors in those chats, and there would be questions regarding their virginity and sex positions. Right. Inappropriate questions are being asked to underage people. What was going on?
That's true. It's completely inappropriate. And I used to do this weekly question and answer thing with my audience. And that particular group chat was full of a bunch of different...
I cannot believe that she admitted it was true. Hey, you win some, you lose some. I feel so validated that she just said that that was true. That she was, in fact, being sexual with us and asking these weird sexual inappropriate questions in group chats. There we go. It took 5 fucking years. 5 years. Do you know how happy and validated that just made me feel? That after all this time of dismissing it, she has just confirmed that she did do that. Like, that's...
different fans of all ages, but they were crass and funny and ridiculous, and they would, whenever I asked for questions for my channel, they would ask me questions like that. They would ask me questions they knew I wouldn't answer that were over the top, inappropriate. So when one of them, which this part...
Oh! Of course, she couldn't double down for too long. She's now saying that it was us doing it. Colleen, you were openly telling us about your sex life.
Part of the conversation's now deleted. Those parts of the conversations are deleted or gone or somehow, I don't know. But they're...
No, they're not. We showed them. We showed them.
When they asked for questions for theirs, I was trying to do the same jokes that they had just previously been doing with me. Stupid and inappropriate. Shouldn't have done it. I feel really embarrassed and stupid. And
did you know they were under...
Colleen, we would actually show. We showed when you were talking about your sex life and stuff like that. Like, what the?
Your age at the time.
I knew that there were teenagers in the chat. Yeah, I did know that. And I also thought, well, they all know I'm not serious. I don't want the answers to these questions. They all know that I'm just joking around like they do this to me. They know I'm not going to answer the questions. I know they don't want the answer. You know, like,
Colleen, no joke, you did. You would talk to us about those things. Oh my God, I need to speak to Weenies. I need to speak to Weenies. I need to speak to Weenies.
I thought like this was, you know, it was clear between all of us that like I was joking. I didn't actually want this information from this person. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny to ask a really absurd, crazy question. And there were a bunch of questions I asked. Those were just a few of the awful ones that I did. And I should have never done that. That was crazy of me.
It wasn't in a grooming fashion.
Absolutely not. It was in a stupid fashion. It was like I shouldn't.
For the laugh?
For the laugh. I thought it would make them laugh. I thought they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Ha ha ha. Like how they did with me off. And they were very funny. That group chat of all these different guys. They were very funny, very dedicated, wonderful people.
So you were being one of the kids.
Yeah, right.
And you had forgotten.
Yeah,
so
right.
you were acting more like one of your kid viewers versus remembering that you were actually the adult in the chat.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that lends itself to the power dynamic that you had referenced earlier. Where you kind of had lost the awareness of that relationship or dynamic.
There was no part of me that was wanting that information truly from them. I wasn't trying to get anything out of them. I was just trying to be like one of them, which is embarrassing to admit because that was not my responsibility in that time. I was trying to be silly like them and be their friend, when in reality I was the one who was supposed to be the responsible one. I was the adult there that should have never participated in that conversation and should have never joked with them about that kind of stuff. There's the power dynamic there, that parasocial relationship that I wasn't thinking about, which was irresponsible of me. Like I should have been thinking about that, and I should have removed myself from that chat immediately when they were joking about things that were inappropriate. I shouldn't have ever participated in those conversations. And it was rare that I was in there talking to them, but that is one of the moments where I did
Bullshit.
I wish
Bullshit.
Let's talk about JoJo for a second. So we know JoJo. You know JoJo. You became friends with her when she was how old?
I first met JoJo, I think she was 11 when I met her and her mom for dinner.
Likely.
And,
Oh, I think my audio just went out. Hold on. Let me make sure that I get this back again. Restart. Are we back? Hold on. I don't know how.
Did you know they were
I don't know how long that was out for.
Negative consequence, because in that moment it feels pure.
And you're not sending it in a sexual manner.
No. Well, and I appreciate that, but at the same time, like it was my responsibility to know.
Yeah,
I shouldn't send this. This could look really bad. And this could make people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yes.
That's where, even though it doesn't matter how many people are egging it on or asking for it, begging for it, and thinking it was so funny, and everyone, you know, it seems like this joke. I should have taken a second and been like, maybe send a bobby pin.
Hold on, let's
I
go.
thought like this was, you know, it was clear between all of us that like I was joking. I didn't actually want this information from this person. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny to ask a really absurd, crazy question. And there were a bunch of questions I asked. Those were just a few of the awful ones that I did. And I should have never done that. That was crazy of me.
It wasn't in a grooming fashion.
Absolutely not. It was in a stupid fashion. It was like I shouldn't.
For the laugh?
For the laugh. I thought it would make them laugh. I thought they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Ha ha ha. Like how they did with me off. And they were very funny. That group chat of all these different guys. They were very funny, very dedicated, wonderful people.
So you were being one of the kids.
Yeah, right.
And you had forgotten.
Yeah,
so
right.
you were acting more like one of your kid viewers versus remembering that you were actually the.
Oh my God, everything's freezing up. Wait. It like doesn't want me to do this. I mean, fair enough. There we go. Goodness me. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. The evil curse of Colleen Ballinger.
Adult in the
Right,
chat.
exactly. Yeah.
And that lends itself to the power dynamic that you had referenced earlier, where you kind of had lost the awareness of that relationship or dynamic.
There was no part of me that was wanting that information truly from them. I wasn't trying to get anything out of them. I was just trying to be like one of them, which is embarrassing to admit because that was not my responsibility in that time. I was trying to be silly like them and be their friend, when in reality I was the one who was supposed to be the responsible one. I was the adult there that should have never participated in that conversation and should have never joked with them about that kind of stuff. There's the power dynamic there, that parasocial relationship that I wasn't thinking about, which was irresponsible of me. Like I should have been thinking about that, and I should have removed myself from that chat immediately when they were joking about things that were inappropriate. I shouldn't have ever participated in those conversations. And it was rare that I was in there talking to them.
Again, that's
but that
not
is one of the
true.
moments where I did interact, and I wish that I hadn't.
Let's talk about JoJo for a second. So we know JoJo. You know JoJo. You became friends with her when she was how old?
I first met JoJo, I think she was 11 when I met her and her
Typical,
mom.
again.
For dinner, because JoJo was a fan, and so she and
Likely
another girlfriend
place
at the
for
time,
a
she went
friendship to
so
start
went
for
dinner with them.
Colleen.
Some people will say that that was an inappropriate friendship for you two to develop since she was 11 and you were an adult. But thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look at it as a friendship at first. She was 11.
Yeah.
And I looked at it as a sweet young girl. I loved the show she was on, and she liked my videos and looked up to me, and she wanted to meet me. And to me, I wasn't looking at it as like becoming best friends with her when I met her. It was just a sweet meeting. And then she's a hustler. You guys know JoJo. She immediately was like, well, I had a video called Colleen's Corner that I answered questions every week. So she did JoJo's Juice to do the same kind of, she she kind of looked at me as like a mentor, someone she looked up to. And, I don't want to speak for JoJo, though. It feels weird talking about this without her here, but she can say this herself if she wants. But, so over time we became friends because she was such a hustler. She'd want to collaborate. And so we'd get together and make videos together.
Which is also very common for YouTubers and fellow people in the world to want to collaborate and get to know each other, feed off each other's videos.
Right.
So
Yes, we became friends, but it always felt more like a family thing because I'm a big family person. Like, I love my family. I'm always with my family. We're always hanging out. We're always having family gatherings. And I think that, again, I don't want to speak for her, but she liked to come over to our family gatherings and hang out with my family where we'd be playing games and eating pizza with my parents, and sometimes her mom and her brother would come, or dad. Like, it was a very family.
They're a big family. The Seawars are a big family.
And my brother and all his kids were there, so he's got 6 kids, and they'd all be there, and we'd all be playing. The kids would be putting
Talk
on
about your
performances, and
creepy
we'd all be
brother.
So it always felt very like
Talk about
sisterly
Trent.
friends. And yes, now that she's older, and I would definitely consider her one of my close friends, and I love her dearly, and I admire her so much. I think she's incredible. I was very involved with talking with her mother all the time and making sure her mom knew when we were hanging out, and her mom said, I'm friends with her mom. I love Jess.
Yeah.
That's all very shocking to me that people look at us being friends as, I guess it makes sense considering the allegations that have come up against me. But I think JoJo's amazing. She's like a sister to me, and I'll stand by that forever. There's nothing weird or inappropriate about our friendship or our relationship. She is amazing. She's my sister, and I have a sister, and she's like a sister to her as well. And JoJo doesn't have a sister, and she's excited that now she calls us her sister. So yeah, it's never been a weird or inappropriate thing.
Even though YouTube is a community of non-celebrity and celebrity people coming together and uploading videos, it has become an industry of its very own.
Totally. Yes.
And within an industry of entertainment, which is what YouTube is now, people are going to interact of all different backgrounds and all different ages. And there are so many YouTube kids that are not on YouTube because they're doing it themselves. They have their parents there with them. And we know Jess as well. We know the family. There will never, ever be a time where Jess is not aware of what JoJo is doing.
Yeah.
And I want to keep people aware that we really do have to be careful in how we throw stones at people when we don't know the entire story. When there is a culture.
I think the picture of Colleen looks pretty clear to come to a fucking conclusion, Raven.
Within the entertainment industry that not a lot of people understand.
So much has happened, and I can only imagine that having to absorb and internalize all of this, a lot of it must have made you have to change. I want to know about some of these changes you've gone through since the height of the controversy.
Jesus, if this podcast is any fucking illusion of that, she's done fuck all.
Well, I'm much more anxious now, and I've been through so much therapy. And I also just think I go into kind of everything with a different perspective than I did before. I mean, when I responded to everything, I was really thinking about the whole situation from my perspective, obviously. Like, these people have shifted their opinion who were laughing with me, and now they're not. And instead of thinking about, like, well, why? I was like, that's not fair, and which was the wrong reaction. And so now I look at things a lot differently, just in general in life, even if I feel I have been wronged in any way or whatever, my go-to now isn't like that person's wronged me. It's what are they going through? Why did they say that? What's the root here? Because I think with everything that I went through and everything that I was canceled for, I was so caught up in the things that weren't true. And, well, they're missing the context of this. So, well, and that was taken out of context there. And this was deleted from this. And, I wanted to explain everything and prove that I wasn't this horrible person, this monster. But
if she so desperately believes this, why has she never done it?
like, in my response, I kind of proved I was kind of like
dismissive.
Yeah, dismissive. And so, I've learned to take a beat and try to hear what people are actually saying. Because yes, there's going to be all the noise. And even when you're just having a little tiff with your partner, they're going to say they're mad about things they're not really. And it's important to try to like sift through the crazy and get to like, what's the root here? Why is this person hurt?
Yeah.
And how can I help them to feel better? And how can I explain this in the right way to help them feel safe and okay when they're not feeling good?
Well, that mindset definitely comes with maturity. That's something that we all have to learn. That's something that people aren't born
Clearly showing a lot of that on this.
with. That comes from trial and error. That comes from trauma. And that comes from a situation like what you have been through. Knowing that this lives online forever. How are you going to explain this to your children?
That's part of the reason why I'm
Here we go.
I kind of was of the mindset for so long, like, I just don't want to talk about it. I'm extremely non-confrontational, and I'm very anxious, and I will do absolutely anything to avoid a confrontation or avoid someone being upset with me or to
That's not true. That's not true at all.
a fault. It's not something I love about myself. It's something that gets me in trouble. And so I don't want to continue to, bring it up for people that they don't, it might hurt them or, I just feel like, people have said how they feel about me, and I'm just going to back away because that's what I think that people want at this point. It's kind of how I felt.
You are coming
I'm just going to back away at this point. She's the one bringing it up in the big year 2025.
back around to not say, take me in again.
No.
But you're coming back around to say, I know what I did. I know what I need to change. I'm changing.
I'm sorry, Colleen Ballinger's actual apology video. Are we going to get it in the last fucking 7 minutes?
You don't have to love me. You don't have to like me.
Right.
But you recognize what happened. And that
Right.
takes a lot of fucking courage.
I
I don't think this is courageous at all.
Obviously wish I could go back and do everything differently in my reactions to this whole situation.
I wish you could do it
I
differently.
feel terrible that I made anyone feel anything other than happy and safe in our little community online. That's all I ever wanted, and I feel so terrible that I disappointed so many people. And I'm genuinely can't even talk.
You're okay. Take a beat.
Stressed.
Well, here we go.
I should have thought a lot more about my interactions with my fans and how it could affect them.
Oh, she just wanted a tea break there.
I should have been more responsible and thought about how these things could affect people, especially, the teenagers that were
Vague.
And I'm so now, in hindsight, like grateful and proud of these people for coming forward and saying, like, hey, this is not okay behavior. Because even though I know that
You're proud of them. You were just discrediting us, by the way, but whatever.
or wanted to hurt anyone, and my intentions and my desires were nothing negative in my interactions with these people, that needed to be said. They needed to say, like, hey, this isn't okay, because there are people out there who they do have the intentions to hurt them, and they need to be able to say, like, this isn't okay, and I'm not standing for this, and like my heart was in the right place. It doesn't matter if people felt uncomfortable. I'm proud of them for saying, like, this wasn't okay and this made me uncomfortable, or this is not an okay thing to joke about, or whatever. That needed to happen, and I hope that anyone interacting with anyone online, whether it be a celebrity or a new friend or anyone, goes into it with that.
Well, I'm sure that you're really setting up a safe space that people believe they can do that whenever you've just discredited and had to be told to say I'm sorry in this. I cannot believe this is called exclusive Colleen Ballinger's actual apology video. No worries. No fucking worries.
Caution up of, like, what are these person's intentions, and assuming they're negative going into it, I feel like is a good thing to protect them from
Real predators.
Real
Yeah,
predators
real
who actually do
predators.
want to hurt them.
I'd be curious to know your thoughts on what you think your spirit is here to learn, because what you've had to endure
It's a big learning lesson.
is a huge.
What you've had to endure. What she's had to endure? Self-inflicted, mind you.
It's a masterclass beyond, and it has, I think, brought you to your knees. It has made you, as you said, more anxious. It's shifted your perspective. You had to take 2 years away. You haven't been online. I mean, it really kind of changed your life. So what?
Took 2 years away. No, she didn't. Sorry, when did she take 2 years away? That's not true. She's been
What do you think the lesson is for your soul, your being on Earth right now?
There are so many lessons. I mean, the things that I've learned and reflected on and thought about over the last couple of years is, I'm a completely different person now in so many different ways. One is, thinking about things from other people's perspectives is important, because while, I might have been like, I can't believe people would say this, I'm sure everyone watching was like, why? I can't believe she's not addressing this properly. I can't believe she's, they felt betrayed by
Still not, by the way.
me, my fans and supporters, that I wasn't addressing this the appropriate way and explaining what was going on. And so I've learned to try to look at conflict from the other person's perspective. I've also, everything that I do and everything that I say, especially as a person of influence, is I'm impacting people. And is that impact necessary, and is it good? Because sometimes you don't need to make them laugh if it's going to hurt someone along the way. You don't need to, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Thinking about the long term, as someone who thinks in the here, right now, what will make people happy right now and make people like me right now, that doesn't always result in good things. Thinking in the long term and how is this going to snowball and affect people in the future, it's a way I've never thought before, and it's something I'm still learning and working on, because it is my go-to to be like, how can I make this person happy right now? I just want, and that causes problems. You really need to be thinking about the other person's well-being and how it will affect them in the future.
Yeah.
And so that's something I've learned and I'm working on a lot.
It's apparent that you want to make amends, that you are taking responsibility.
What? What? It's clear that she wants to make amends. With who? The audience, so that they can allow her to go on tour again? What do you mean, Miranda? Dummy.
For the things that you have done in the past that were not okay. And you've said, I'm sorry now, many, many times. Before.
You just said that she didn't say sorry in the ukulele video. Which means that the first time she would have said sorry would have been here whenever Raven had to tell her to say sorry. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Being on the show, and now many times today on the show. But I want to know, have you been able to, / will you forgive yourself?
Why is that important? Why is that important? How can you forgive yourself when you haven't even the audacity to reach out to any of us?
For some things, I think. But I also think I'm one of those people that, whatever hate comments or hate I receive, I've already thought it about myself at some point in my life. So, I'm my biggest hater. they ain't got nothing on me. So like, it's hard for me to have grace with myself and forgiveness. And I think that's why it's taking me so long to even say anything is I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll just back away. Because I just, and that's one of the things I've learned in the last
How can Miranda say you've said sorry so many times and then Colleen says this is why I haven't said anything for so long?
years is so much of my self-worth was based in the validation from my fans and making sure I was being entertaining and I was giving them what they wanted. And that was who I was as a person. So when that was...
Oh my God, the first time she's crying is when she's talking about her fucking career. She just wants her career back as to what it was.
taken away, I was like,
when it was taken away. The first time she's crying in this entire thing is not when she's talking about being inappropriate with kids, grooming kids, making kids uncomfortable, bringing them back to a time when they were sexually assaulted. No, it's actually when her career was taken away from her. Fuck you.
I'm nothing. So that was a really hard lesson for me to learn, to find peace and happiness and validation and be okay with myself with that not there.
I honestly cannot believe this is the first time she's crying. This tells me everything I need to know about her still.
Entire person and your whole validation and like what others think of you. And that's what I was doing with my fans. I wasn't anything without that.
Do you remember earlier when I asked you what your lesson was for your soul? That to me is actually the answer. That the person that you are, because you've struggled with your worth, because you've struggled with your confidence, it's like when you have those questions of, am I
can't believe this is the first time she's crying. This is so
if you're in
typical.
this industry and you show weakness, that will be eaten alive.
Yeah.
Because people prey on that. Right. And I think your soul's journey here is to learn that you're worthy and to really find peace in yourself and love yourself. Because
wow, this is so moving.
It's brutal.
I'm still working on that one.
I know.
I think
it's fearless.
This is not a woe is me thing at all. But like there's, with everything that happened, I was about to do a Broadway show, another Broadway show, and
oh my God! Oh my God. That's what she cares about. Also, sorry, speaking of Broadway, no mention of Trisha. No mention of sending Trisha's fucking nudes around. No mention of having watch parties of Trisha. All confirmed, by the way. No mention of Trisha in this.
I was writing my next book, and I was in the middle of a big tour, and everything was one by one like plucked from me. Everything that I'd been working on and worked for decades, was gone, and it sucked. But like honestly, like what really struck me was who am I without this validation from these people? So it took me a while to wake up and not.
I can't believe this is what she's crying about, rather than anything else.
I definitely worked really hard to get there, and realized one day like, oh, I'm not getting any validation from any audience, and I'm okay. Like, and obviously I have the most important things in the world to me, which is my children and my family, and that's all that I need. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm at now. I think I need to get to that point before coming out and saying anything, because I need to have everything that I need before I
you need this.
Make sure this is because I'm just want to clear the air and say my side of things without any like.
You haven't said shit.
Or ukulele.
Or ukulele. God, fuck that ukulele. Can I say that word?
Yes. You can say that word.
Thank you so much, Colleen, for coming and.
Bullshit. I honestly don't have much to say. All I'm going to say is the one time she mentioned me, she fucking lied on me with the lingerie thing. She mentioned Becky and said that she took it so seriously whenever it came to your attention. That's not true. You made fun of fucking Becky in your ukulele song. No mention of how your fucking predatory brother Trent utilized your fame to be inappropriate to fucking Oliver when Oliver was under fucking age. And no mention of Trisha Paytas and what you fucking did to her. Nothing else to say. And again, all you need to know is the only time she cried in this was whenever she was referring to losing a Broadway show and not being able to go on tour again. Despicable woman. I'm leaving it there. I'm done.